What it do? This is Benjamin. Alright, Benjamin. OS6 once again hitting them from NTFID Tell TV. Tell the world about them. That's how I'm gonna kick this off because on this one we're gonna talk about some moolah regenerate, some money. Alright, and one way to understand money over here in NTFID is through cryptocurrency forms and exchanges, which includes onion rings as well. I've bought a few Bitcoins before, spent good money on them, and got a sudden rush of quick intelligence, some stuff that made me feel good about putting my money inside of a kiosk and receiving a Bitcoin in the amount of whatever it broke down to at the time. But remember, these Bitcoins, they include what you call engine frequencies, which leads all the way down until the end point of soak. That's what takes you to the day of the dime. We'll talk about that later. A lot of Bitcoin companies get over on people when it comes to these kiosks because they take their Bitcoin machine Bitcoins that they get from the money from people. They go inside those Bitcoins and they start shading in them and cutting in them, and they start trading in them. And next thing you know, your $20 is mixed in with somebody else's $15, which is mixed in with somebody else's $300,000, which is mixed in with somebody else's money. You know what I'm saying? So they take your money and they laundromat you off top. All right, but that's not important. What you get a Bitcoin for, or what you going on the dark net, spending money on onion rings and buying dope for on totally different engine frequency, and you don't got no type of self-security. You ain't got nothing to recognize nothing. You just got your ID underneath with your money that you cashing in from your wallet onto any kind of Bitcoin application service or onion ring service. Could be on Wayback Machine and you found some little proxy-fied website on the net, or IEE or Netfind or some shit, or you bought a motherfucking walkie-talkie with a deuce attached in it. You know what I'm saying? You might want to use an onion ring for that. When I stick money in the machine, the first thing I do in my Humor Radio, I go in there and take a picture of myself. What am I taking a picture of? My Bitcoin identity. What's my Bitcoin identity? It's that long number you get off the machine when you put some money in there and you complete your transaction. Why is that important for your Humor Radio? It's important for your Humor Radio, especially if you tag your ID to it, so you can take a picture of it. Say, well, this is my money. No matter when that number starts changing in the background, I'm gonna be right there looking at that number change. All right. So we get that out the way. The way the Humor Radio is designed, we are attached to every Bitcoin identity that we feed into any of those kiosk machines or over the internet. All right. Remember, our biome, our iome, which is made up of from the bottom, is designed from cryptos alone. And cryptos is basically what cryptocurrency is built out of. You see, I thought about that a long time ago, and this is before they was even selling Bitcoins. So my identity is encrypted. And the way that I use my ID, my antenna frequency identifiers, is I do what the Arabics do. I underpaint. And what is underpainting? Is just saying I lay the base down for whatever I need to drop onto this painting before I paint it. It could be another painting drawn up under it in pen or pencil, or it could be extra black bold TTF, two type font. So I'm already coding and correcting my biome, iome, my identity as soon as somebody go in there and try to change it. Because remember, I'm taking pictures of you too. I'm on camera too. We get the other way. So with that said, now that you know my ion is cryptified, and I'm using all these different cryptographies in my lines and taking chunks of information and shrinking it down all the way into some kind of crypto form, let's say a whirlpool. And that's where I put my identity at, on some of those identity bitcoins that I got from the kiosk that I put my money into, so I can see if somebody's doing something other than trying to be cool with a $15,000 bitcoin just rolling on my phone or my laptop or something like that. Alright, you gotta have a purpose for this. People is getting smoked over these Bitcoin engine frequencies because they see that large, fast value number right there, and they think they could just run into everybody's Bitcoin and get away with it. But you gotta remember, you're biting into somebody's identity. And if you're anybody like me, my identity got a radio rifle attached to it. So as soon as you touch my shit, I'm smashing on your head game right here with a super code that I dropped inside my cryptos format a long time ago. So it's a lot of dead people in the hallway, if you want to put it like that. You know, and we going all forms, you know, hex, kex, binary, Zex with the ZZ top, at math now, toppling the game, you know. One thing I got tied into, which you can always run a tilt inside your Bitcoin to see and to stop and to slow down shit from happening negative. You can always just say tilt, and that whole engine environment will go down. Remember, engine frequency is basically a onion ring, and the onion ring in the Bitcoin currency is not supposed to be tied in to one another. However, through space and time, they got jumbled into one another. So one's been trying to block the other out while still conducting business on one end, while the other's doing dirty biz on the other end, and that war be going on for a long time. However, they both serving to each other because how big is the internet? Well, the internet is just as big as the size of your average briefcase. You know, the type of briefcase you want to crumble some weed down on. That's about the average size of the internet. How much more space do you need to run a frequency that identify everywhere over the world? Well, you're gonna need more than that briefcase, and that's what we got at antenna frequency identifier. So, what's being produced is an engine frequency from a little small device, size of a little small box. Alright? It was a legal frequency from the beginning. What I was able to do was take the actual frequency and tame it to my dyslexia, which would be basically just to run my frequency on ANTFID Tel TV. That was over 11, 12 years ago. I literally strained and rewatched the whole game of onion rings and perfected Darknet about 7 years ago. So I'm already producing engine frequency. So when you go up in there and you're touching the shit and you see all those engine rewards, remember I'm producing that shit no way here at ANTFID. Alright, and that's what makes us number one when it comes to spotting turmoil all over the internet, is because we run the streaming frequency and we don't even live on the internet. We live outside the internet. And that's where you go to look for help most of the time. So we'll be right here helping you get down to the bottom of matters when it comes to ANTFID. But I got good news on that for you too. So just stay tuned. So that's how we beat engine frequencies on your Bitcoin wallet, and that's how safe we are, you know. But one thing I want you to get into is how we break down all this negativity. And they say you take your negative and you reroute it into your positive, and you let that be that. So this is what we do. What I do is when I find people who took hashes from me, used my identity, went over there and did a movie treatment or did some songs or did whatever they had to do with whomever, or whatever business, or whatever topic or occupation they had to do with, I go over there and I do more than engulf them. I turn all that shit back into a piece of paper. That's one thing you can do when you're over the internet, over a computer environment. Alright? So I take it, turn it back to a piece of paper, and I get my big ass hole puncher. Right? Now I just start punching holes out in it. And I take those little holes, all that paper, all them holes, I turn it and I convert it back into engine frequency. Now from there, I can go regular Bitcoin, I can go Ethereum, Trillium, you know. But this has been going on so long that I had to design my own currency out of it, which is where we are right now, which is Ethereum. But you ain't gonna see Ethereum in no kiosk, huh? Nope. And why wouldn't you see Ethereum in the kiosk? I'll tell you why. Even though we'll be better than them at what we do, it'll be the same hypocrisy type biz to go out there and work so hard just to give it away, even a little bit that way, because there'll be so many people fighting over it. You know what I'm saying? So I take it all, convert it to Ethereum. Now with Ethereum, my soak is thicker than every other currency out there on the planet. I got the thickest, whitest, cleanest soak, and you can't take it from. So when people take their bots, cyborgs, humanoids, they come over here and bite into people, bite into me, they often blow up. I don't care how big a company is. Little old me, you know. So I'll try to get down on little old me, because I'll blow your ass up for biting into me. And that's what's been happening a lot lately, you know. So to convert my stolen madness into happiness and positiveness, I take my Ethereum and I automatically buy radio points. And radio points go like this, just like in a soundtrack movie. You got this artist, this producer over here, they do this song. The artist might not make much because the budget might be funny, but they'll give them some points. He'll take that point and they'll add up, and he'll end up sending those points or use them in a whole totally different album. So we do that here, and the reason why we do that here is because the more money you put in there, the more money I can take your money and invest it back into you using my soap. Alright, so I can take $1 and you can use this in literal thousands of dollars terms, even millions and trillions. And I turn it into a $5 bill up top, charge you 5% of that $5, and I keep it in there in my banking system. Alright, which is over the airways, so I don't need a server or a contact point to make this happen. I'm subjecting straight from me to you. And that's the way communication works here at ANTFI Detail TV 2.
Put my stuff down.
So that's how we return the soap, as well as when we see you, and we do all your transactions from there. When we see you making transactions, we'll go up in there and we'll make a life for you, so that you don't have to go to a third party and do all these transactions. You know what I'm saying? So, and we respect about all the human radio. So the humans not come over here and talk shit. Now them humans might talk shit, but the law of radioism, computer science, all that still stands the same. It's abiding. And if you're catching the right way, you can break a whole company down. You see what I'm saying? Today I just took $70 million off the internet and put it somewhere else on my anti-FID, just on the phone that, well, my money just following me to and from. So the people that have been cutting into it been leading me right back to them. You know what I mean? Using my underpaid method. You know, so that's how they've been getting caught up on the Zebra tip on the antenna frequency identifier, tail tip, TV tip.
I put it on the charger earlier.
That's how the human world radio works. That's how easy it is for you to take your money and watch your money and watch your money, come in your money and watch it work for you all throughout every type of parameters, commands that you may put down into your human world radio and connect it to your Bitcoin and at the Ethereum, the Anti-Fi Detail TV will automatically go in there and watch over your money for you. So if you don't think I'm not getting paid over the internet, over airwaves, if you don't think I'm not charging for this and electrical condone value, think again. And you can always cash out with me.
Congratulations.
Those that are doing this over the airwave, you never go down. As a matter of fact, I take your money and I still do the same with that 5% thing. You know what I mean? So That's how HWR works, and that's how the West has won. That's how I've been beating their ass in the Bitcoin game.
That's all.
You in the meeting?
So for everybody that took anything from Benjamin, Benjamin OSO@6 at B9651931. Just know that the people that you've been selling these hashes to have been crumbling down as big production studios and even big actors. And a lot of people cashed out really good on them. It's just that all of a sudden they sad. They miserable. Don't nobody want to give them no more new jobs. That's the way it works when you fuck up over here. Remember, we blessed. And I bless all mine. And mine bless me back. And I hope one day to meet you soon, you know what I'm saying? And with that said, this is Anti-FID Tell TV. Tell it all, motherfucker.